So it says Congress is trying to ram through 18 mass censorship and surveillance bills. Call your reps and tell them no to COSA, no to Section 230 reform, no online digital ID laws, no age verification laws, no to the Screen Act, no to the App Store Accountability Act digital ID system. Now, this is Taylor Lorenz. I've had beef with her before. She's actually spoken, mentioned me, when I was doing the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and all that stuff. They kind of sent her out to kind of counter everybody and say it wasn't true, all of that. But, again, what did I tell you guys? I'm no longer on a political side. I have no animosity. I have no, right now, I just want information, and anybody who's delivering it, even voices that you wouldn't normally listen to, voices you could have had beef with or animosity, you don't know who God will use. And right here, God used her because this popped up on my timeline and I did not know about all of these different things. So I'm not going to play the video because the guy's just kind of doing comedy about it. It's kind of a weird video, but I was like, whoa. So I started looking up what these things were. Let me show you. I literally tweeted this earlier this week. Repealing section destroys the internet. Forget age verification and COSA. Repealing Section 230 is the most dangerous thing you can do to ensure the internet is non-existent. All user-generated content would disappear. Did you know this was going on? It's kind of small, but I'll read it. It says, worse than age verification is the idea of repeating Section 230. Section 230 is the law that created the internet. It protects you as a user and prevents censorship. If they repeal Section 230, the internet could literally disappear overnight. I wish I was being hyperbolic. Okay, so we'll play this, and then I have something I want to show you. It's going to give more clarity to what all those things are.
Long last, proceeding to file a bipartisan Section 230 repeal. We've been working on that for a long time, and I think it's time now to make the decision, and people in this committee who want to join the bipartisan bill can join, and people who don't want to, they don't have to. But waiting any longer, I don't think serves any useful purpose. So I thank Senator Graham for proceeding that way. At long last, proceeding to file a bipartisan Section 230 repeal. We've been working on that for a long time, and I think it's time now to make the decision, and people in this committee who want to join the bipartisan bill can join, and people who don't want to, they don't have to. But waiting any longer.
Okay, so we get the idea, but let me show you this. So Taylor Lorenz, she shared this, and I didn't know about this. It's called Congress Say No to Bad Internet Bills. Congress wants to, because they think it's just Trump doing this, guys. What have I told you? Okay. Two wings of the same bird, two heads of the same snake, of the same beast. Every president has built on each other. There is no left and right. They get us into, guys, we were probably going to have to do again a whole video just to unpack that. But I think you're seeing that. Some people say, well, no, Obama did that, or Bush did that, or Biden did that. And it's just falling on Trump. If you do not go through the details, you can see they've all stair-stepped each other, snuck things in, done things, and it's all gotten to a point, right? This is why we don't trust in man. We don't trust in a government. We don't trust in a politician. We don't trust in a person. Where is our faith and belief in? Is in Jesus Christ, Yeshua alone. Because it was always written to end. They just gaslit us into believing that we have some type of, that America is this promised land or this safe haven, or the West is. And that's how they've kept us asleep, right? Okay, so whether it's from the left or right, understand there is only but one agenda. All the other stuff, they literally create the problem so that they have opposition, and we're just fighting like roaches. Meanwhile, they're all cool. They're all cool with each other. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay? And they have us worried about things that will not mean anything. And if think about all the things people are fighting about online, all of the different things, right? Even within their own parties, everything. Imagine the digital ID, the WF 2030 plan, where you will own nothing and be happy, where they said that they're going to have universal basic income, that Working will be optional. There'll be no jobs. We're seeing with the AI, like it's all to get. Imagine if that dropped, right? A pandemic, all the things they have planned. They want to reduce the population to 1 billion. All of that came out. We would all probably unite and regardless of our different factions and come together and come together. It would all kind of like mean nothing, right? So that's what you have to think about. Those are the things you keep in mind when you think about what's going on in this world. If these things, which I have told you, are the most important things in the world, the most important things, the most important thing in the world, because this affects all of us exactly the same. And it is literally biblical prophecy. What would you do tomorrow? Digital ID, you must have it. You cannot work, you cannot buy or sell, you can't have health care, you can't get insurance, you can't pay taxes, so then they can take your property. Like if you can't you can't have literally telecommunications, you can't get you can't get utilities, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay taxes. Think about the implications of what they do if you can't do that. You can't own a gun because it all has to be tied to your digital ID. What if that just dropped? And to get on the internet, you have to have your digital ID. That you're only allowed to eat a size of red meat, this size, guys, like this size. That is what you're allotted through your carbon, which your carbon allotment of real meat, beef, red meat, is this for a week, not a day, not a meal, a week, because the goal is to bioengineer all meat. Imagine that drop tomorrow, that you have to have vaccinations. Your children cannot go to school. You can't homeschool anymore. You don't have choice. This is all laid out like in their plan, what I'm telling you. So imagine if it all dropped tomorrow. Would you care about a lot of the stuff you care about right now? They say all jobs are being eliminated by AI. By 2030. That's the goal. And it's moving faster than they thought. So somebody need to hear. I wanted to put that out there because somebody need to hear that, because that really wakes you up. That really elevates it, because I say tomorrow, but understand this is our tomorrow. This is our tomorrow without a doubt. Are you living like it's tomorrow? Are your eyes open? Are you awake? All right. So it says Congress wants to hand Trump even more power for censorship and surveillance by passing dangerous internet bills that attack Section 230 and require online ID checks. This has been rolling out around the world. Australia, I brought those reports. Tell Congress they can't pretend to stand up to the big tech while taking our rights away. Well, they just removed all restrictions on AI. Did you know that all of these things? Let's look at it. And let me just say, I'm not joining a protest. I'm not doing a resistance march. If that's what you're looking for, good luck. Good luck with that. You're not going to be able to stop anything. You're not going to be able to stop a single thing. Be able to give you a little something, make you feel a little like you did something. You get a little hope. But this is rolling out worldwide and in the US all at the same time, because they're not going to do it because you do a little protest. You're going to vote differently. When they said you're not going to vote again, they meant it. When they said Trump will get a third term, that's what they meant. And whether you like that idea or not, understand that is upending everything. Now, I don't know if we'll vote in midterms, but I certainly don't think we'll vote for a president again. I know we won't. They've said it. It wasn't a joke. That's predictive programming. Everything's a joke. Everything's AI. That's fake. That's dunking on the libs, dunking on the right, whatever. You were warned. They told you the truth. We just don't believe it. So listen, let's go through these. Section 230 protects free speech online. We already read a little bit about it. So threats by Trump, like I hate when I say threats by Trump. Again, this is like kind of like a leftist thing, but understand the information is correct. But it's not just Trump, it's the government, it's all of the presidents. Everything's been leading up to this. Doesn't matter who's sitting in the White House. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. So, threats by Trump and Congress to sunset Section 230 would end online free expression as we know it. Section 230 is a legal compromise that protects platforms from lawsuits over third party content while still allowing them to engage in content moderation. Let me see. Without it, platforms will be forced to choose between acting as publishers, allowed to pick and choose what they host, but legally liable for whatever they publish, and anything goes platforms unable to engage in even basic spam mitigating content moderation. Regular people would be unable to post on publisher curated websites and would have their voices drowned out by scams and hate speech on unmoderated platforms. No, I think it'll be crawling with propaganda. Online ID checks. This is all legislation in our government right now. Some things have already been done. Like they don't really need the laws, but they, I've walked you through that. But did you know all of this is going on and nobody's talking about it? Nobody's talking about, no, we're arguing about who's in our government. They've always been, it's always been this way. You're just opening your eyes and waking up and seeing it. But while all that fussing and fighting is going on, this is the real threat. This is where we really are. Online ID check laws combine surveillance and censorship. These laws, adopted by 19 states, require residents to provide sensitive information such as driver's license or face scan simply to access websites and apps. ID check systems are vulnerable to hacking, putting this sensitive data at risk. Unreliable and biased facial recognition technologies can deny residents of these states access to large sections of the net. Requiring a website to implement an online ID check discourages users from interacting with it, harming both users and content creators. These bills allow the government to limit access to reproductive health care information in online LGBTQ communities. The SCREEN Act promises to bring these requirements to the entire country. Even in their thinking, it's just, oh, it's all about healthcare and LGBTQ community. Understand the information's good, but understand where their focus is. They're still distracted. They don't. You see what I'm saying? Because they're fighting in their flesh. They think they're doing something. They're still in this left and right propaganda. They're still. It's well. Let's say LGBTQ. So that's really going to get people fired up. No, tell people the truth. Tell people the full truth. Everybody, no matter who you are, what you believe. Everybody, this cage is coming down on you. Doesn't matter. COSA claims to make kids safer, but it's really a dangerous censorship bill that will give the government unprecedented control over the internet. This would put youth in danger by preventing them from accessing potentially life-saving resources. Lawmakers concerned about online safety should reject COSA and instead work to protect all internet users from abusive tech companies by passing federal data privacy law. The SCREEN Act would instate nationwide age verification requirements for websites that lawmakers deem harmful to minors. But far from promoting safety, it would force websites to contract with shady third-party verification companies to collect and store incredibly sensitive identifying info, like our driver's licenses and passports, in insecure databases. With backing from far-right, I'm going to say all politicians, right? And conservative anti-porn groups, it's clear what this bill is really intended to do: censor our access to the internet while collecting our data in droves. I have to keep saying left or right, like please wake up, people. Please wake up. Please don't fall into that trap. That's what they want. They want you there. Please be enlightened. Go higher. Go higher, right? Take It Down Act. This bill would require platforms to remove non-consensually distributed intimate imagery within 48 hours of notice by a user, but provides no exception for encrypted private messages. This means companies will be required to abandon end-to-end encryption so they can read and moderate your DMs. The bill also has no safeguards against false reports being used to remove protected and already often censored. Oh my gosh, if they're going to, I'm not getting into all this stuff. Trump himself has already signaled how this will be wielded against anyone who opposes him and exposing the flaws of this approach. So your DMs, remember, AI is already learning. I brought you those videos on your DMs. Nothing will be private. Right now, the EU is proposing they want to now be able to have access to everyone's text messages. That every phone will come built in with this government software, spyware, that cannot be removed, so they can monitor your phone. I wish I was joking. We did the video. And just because it's the EU, guys, it's coming here. Did you know all this? We've talked about this in other countries, but this is currently what's going on here. The Earn It Act of 2023. Oh, under Biden, threatens to undermine online encryption by punishing companies that provide encryption services and by repeating the same mistakes as a previous bill called SESTA FOSTA, and it would lead to widespread internet censorship and crackdowns. Oh gosh, on marginalized communities, on everybody. Okay, we're all marginalized. If you're living here on Earth, you're a marginalized community. If you're not one of the elite, you're a marginalized person. Color, gender, none of it matters. When Earn It was previously introduced in 2020 and 2022, it was shelved in the face of overwhelming public outcry and opposition from human rights groups. Now lawmakers are introducing Earn It for the third time, hoping to pass it and break the internet while we're distracted. Guys, even people that I don't even agree with everything they're talking about. Again, the information is good, but their agenda is it's small. But I keep talking about being distracted. I'm sorry. It's just, I told you, every time I start to talk about something, God just confirms it for me. It's a good feeling. It's not because I was right. Understand, it's not about that. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, but it's like, you told me to speak on it, and then you reveal all this stuff to me, even after I've been saying it. It just gives me reassurance that we're on the right path. We're on the right path. You listening to this, that means you are on the right path. You are hearing, you're seeing, you're awake. And I think that's wonderful. The Cooper Davis Act is a misguided attempt to address the public health crisis caused by fentanyl in many communities in the US. The bill does more harm than good, opening the door for increased surveillance of messaging and damaging encryption that ensures digital security online. Another Earn It Act copycat bill. More surveillance will not solve public health crisis. End-to-end encryption is not a public safety threat. Secure private messaging protects people's privacy, and it should be protected. Guys, my lips are so dry. I gotta put a little gloss on. Look at this. I'm just laughing at it because it's wild. Age gating bills. Regressive states across the country are taking away teenagers' online rights. It started in Utah with 2 laws that create a mandated social media bedtime and gives parents complete control over their kids' accounts, messages, and passwords. Utah lawmakers claim their curfew and control bills help children, but these bills actually make children less safe by increasing state and parental surveillance. Well, I think there should be full parental surveillance. But understand, when they talk about protecting kids, they're never protecting kids. It's so they can backdoor things. What they did with digital ID in Australia, they said to get on social media, people are under 16 can't use social media anymore, right? That just passed. But what it does is makes it so people have digital ID. They have to prove that you are over 16. See how they backdoor that? And now, not just social media, on the 27th of this month of December in Australia, to get on the internet, to use the internet, you have to prove how old you are. How do you? Digital ID. Okay, so anything that's like for safety and all that stuff, there's other ways to do it, but this is what they're choosing. And it really takes away the rights of parents. Why they say parents can surveil and look at the parents have apps and things, they can do that now. Why do we need the government to do that? Understand where this is going to be far reaching. So your children will be surveilled. It's one thing if you as the parent do it, but now the government has access to everything your child is. You try to be an absolute angel. That's not the point. That's not the point. Okay, so parental surveillance and restricting access to community. To make matters worse, legislation like this is spreading. Arkansas has passed a copycat bill. Louisiana and Texas are trying to follow Utah's lead, and it's being introduced federally in Congress. Stop CSAM. Stop CSAM wouldn't actually stop CSAM. Instead, it would make CSAM cases harder to prosecute. What is CSAM? Hold on. Some of this is new. Child sexual abuse material. Okay, like children being harmed. Okay, Geppettos, I'll say, because there's certain words I'm trying to keep from being censored. PDF file, okay, material. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're picking up what I'm trying to throw out. Instead, it would make CSAM cases harder to prosecute, like SESTA and FOSTA before it, while reducing privacy protections in ways that will harm vulnerable people. Like Earn It, Stop CSAM undermines end-to-end encryption, a technology that's vital. Please do not. LGBTQ plus youth. This is all youth, survivors of interpersonal violence and stalking, abortion seekers and providers and activists. Weakening E2EE as a means to funnel more information to law enforcement also sets an alarming precedent for government surveillance. All of us, including children, need to be able to communicate in the digital age without our conversations being spied on. All right, so we came to the end of it, but these are just the ones they're highlighting. This isn't all 18 that are going on, but these are the ones, that fit their agenda, but their agenda is weak. Now let me, sorry guys, I have not looked at everything. I'm here. I'm just rolling with it because let's see. Do I want to, I did that one. There's something I want to show you. Oh, there's so much I wanted to talk about. Actually, we can go to this. I talked about this woman before. Okay, so the WEF, which we're part of, and the Great Reset. Many people I'm seeing now talking about a Great Reset. Even Glenn Beck, he's been talking about this nonstop. But it says the Great Reset, aka the Great Lie. Why is this notion of a Great Reset so hard for many to believe? It is very real. It is adversarial to our American way of life, and it is adversarial to the national sovereignty as well as the culture of most societies around the world. And someone is just like asking Donald Trump, what are you going to do? All right, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to pop off. But I'm going to play this for you guys. I actually mentioned her in a video. We probably have to do a whole thing about everything she talked about. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you guys on the screen. I'm going to pop off. Yeah, that should be good enough.
You are an outspoken whistleblower. You've called out the Davos elite.
Our old systems are not fit for the 21st century. We need a great reset.
How did you get to a point where you helped build the WEF's Great Reset?
In 2020, I get my dream job. So I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer at Deutsche Bank. When I was there, that's when I see the fraud. Everything is a marketing scam. The bottom line is this. We cannot issue this annual report. This is a legal living document. It is filled with lies. And a couple of weeks later, I was fired. And the next day, the annual report came out with all the lies. They don't just fire me. They go on this horrific smear campaign. Within 2 days, the US authorities call me up, the SEC, the FBI, and the Department of Justice. And they ask me.
You're going further and say they're controlling the world.
The WEF is huge. Its tentacles affect every part of your life. This isn't stakeholder capitalism. This is socialism. They're lying to the public. They've manufactured a climate crisis. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industrial complex. The Davos agenda is much more than just net zero. The Davos agenda is about...
Desiree, I should ask, did you ever meet Klaus Schwab?
Yes.
Anything to say about it?
Truthfully,
Okay, I am here. I just wanted that to be big on the screen. Let me make this smaller because I want to show you something else.
You are
Oh,
outspoken whistle.
we're going to have to go over things that she's talked about before. I'll just keep myself small so I don't have to keep going back and forth, guys. You guys know what I look like. I'm on half the time I don't even show up. Oh, I'll just pop this in, guys. Yeah, just in. Israeli intelligence claims Iran is the prime suspect in the Bondi Beach attack. I have not covered that yet. I don't know if I am because, again, I think it's distraction. Everything is working to move us towards a certain goal. But understand this signals war. I'm going to do a whole war video, all the things that are going on. It's insane. If you have not, there's so much information. It's hard to even keep up with Venezuela. There's things going on with Taiwan, with China, with Japan, with Russia. It's mind-numbing, and it's hard to get all the centralized information unless you really, really follow it. But then there's 1,000 other things to follow at the same time. So I just wanted to pop that in that I told you we're headed to war. This was predicted. This is what we know. World War III. Many people are talking about the Economist magazine with the elites run by the Rothschilds and the 13 families. This is their magazine. We did a whole breakdown that was featuring tanks and war and the breaking of the currency. Somebody just mentioned BRICS. I will pull this up. Yes, I know about BRICS. Oh, and thank you. I have a member here. And thank you, Mary Murphy. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you so much for the super chat. But let me show you this question. It says, Melanie, have you heard about the BRICS new currency? Yes. There's going to be some announcements rolling out. Russia is very upset because of what we're doing with crypto, because it essentially will devalue our debt. There's just, that is very detailed, but we're moving to all digital currency. This is worldwide happening. This is happening worldwide, guys. And we are no exception. I keep telling you that. Don't think you're protected because you're in the United States and that's not going to happen. All right. And guys, I always say we're not going to talk about specific countries and all of that. We're not here for that. We're here for a higher purpose and to get into the real details that they're not really telling you about. Right. That surface stuff about the government, who's here, what they're doing, all that. And in fact, let me play this. This is I got to make it smaller. It's too big right now. Now, this is a woman who was testifying, right? There was testifying about what in 2023, what they were planning, what is to come. Right now, this clip is going viral because no one paid attention to these things. But they tell you, and this whistleblower said what's going to happen, and it's everything that we've talked about. This was in 2023 that this came out. But now people are paying attention because we're seeing those pieces being put in place. We're seeing it all coming together. The planned pandemics, we've played those videos. They've told us about the vaccines coming out. They're even putting the vaccines in our food, our water, all legally. They don't have any stumbling blocks to be able to do these things.
We're undergoing a soft coup, and the idea is to create a whole new set of laws and ignore the existing human rights laws and other laws under the pretext of pandemic preparedness and the biosecurity agenda. The WHO is developing through all its nations, but with the WHO directorate in the United States in charge, a pandemic treaty and amendments to the existing international health regulations that will remove the human rights protections currently embedded in the IHRs, will enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, require governments to censor and only push a single narrative. Also, we will be subject, if they can make this work, to vaccines developed in 100 days, which the organization CEPI is planning to do. And one of the people who founded CEPI was Jeremy Farrar, who is now the chief scientist at the WHO, to bring this forward. Other things that amendments do is to bind the states so they're no longer recommendations but enforceable edicts. Provide a liability shield, get rid of intellectual property rights, move supplies from one country to another, enforce digital passports, and the Director General of WHO can demand that a pandemic or a potential pandemic exists. He can just declare it with no standards, and then countries around the world will have to obey. Also, the WHO will tell you what drugs you can and can't use in your nation once a pandemic is declared. Obviously, the budget will increase. One Health is another part of this. One Health is a concept that was created to enable the WHO, with these documents, to take over jurisdiction of everything in the world by saying that climate change, animals, plants, water systems, ecosystems are all central to health. Also embedded in this concept is a peculiar notion that humans are no longer of greater value than animals.
Now, I know it was hard to hear. I tried looking for the original of this. I did, guys. I could not find it. I will keep searching for it because I want to do a whole video about it. But he told the whole thing. But they published that this is the agenda. But we're not part of WF. We're not part of WHO anymore. We've given billions, guys. We're implementing the same things here. Like you've got to wake up before it's too late.